Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 25 of the Chosen One's Star Wars podcast here on Game Domain. Yes, we are halfway to 50 episodes already. And so, as always, I'm your host, Jason, joined by my co host, Captain.
Bueno.
All right, so it's pretty light in the world of Star Wars right now. Not much news coming out, in the climate of the crazy climate of the world right now. There hasn't been that much announcements. There's just two little things, two little quick announcements that we're going to touch on right here at the top of the show, and then before we get into the main topic of the show. But so two little quick announcements. One, John Favreau and other members, Dave Filoni, said that Mandalorian season 2 will in no way be delayed due to COVID-19. They already got yeah, they already got all the filming done, I guess, and I think a lot of
It
the
wrapped in March.
a lot of the editing I guess could have been done remotely or in small groups, following social distancing and whatever government guidelines they have to follow out in Los Angeles to make these movies, to make these TV shows, and movies as well, but to specifically make this TV show for Disney Plus. So they were able to get it, they're able to get it done, and I believe it's supposed to come out in the middle of October. That's going to be the main topic of conversation today. We're going to talk about some Mandalorian season 2, just general predictions, because like we said, there's really no interesting Star Wars news out as of right now. When we're recording this on Thursday, August 13th, you guys will be seeing this video on the upcoming Monday. Um, so basically, the only other small announcement, which is a pretty big deal to me and Captain, but most of you guys probably won't really care about this. So on Disney Plus, they have a lot of the Lego Star Wars Droid Tale, little like animated short videos. They've come out within the last couple years. I think they released some of them on Cartoon Network and whatnot,
Hell yeah.
and Disney. Why am I thinking? What's the name? Oh, Disney XD. I was trying to think of Disney's channel. And
Yeah, it's
Disney
Disney laughing
XD.
face.
Yeah, and Disney XD. So they released. So they have all those droid tales and all those episodes. They have those on Disney Plus now, and they just announced a new one that they're making, and it is the iconic holiday special in Lego form. Not there's no real details on it. I think it's supposed to be of the with the new Star Wars characters from the new Star Wars movies, the sequel movies, and I'm assuming probably some old Star Wars characters as well. I doubt that they would leave them out, but it's not going to be a specific recreation of the holiday special. It's just going to be kind of a revamp of the holiday special with new characters and new things, and in Lego form, so it won't be that much money to make, and it can't be a complete failure and flop. I also think that if they put the original holiday special on Disney Plus, they get a lot of people to watch it,
No,
and
it's gone. Right? It doesn't exist.
that's true for
What are
George.
you talking about?
We're gonna get
Doesn't exist. People
demonetized
burned
because
it.
we're talking about.
What are you talking about? We're gonna be assassinated.
Yeah. So basically, that's the only other small Star Wars tidbit news. And all right. So now, just for the next 15, 20 minutes or so, we're just gonna have a quick little talk about predictions for the Mandalorian season 2. Obviously, like we just said, the Mandalorian season 2 is, thank God, not going to be delayed. There was a lot of skepticism as to whether it would actually come out in October, which is the
Yeah, but
release date,
it
due to everything surrounding it.
wrapped
But
in March, man. It
yeah, it
wrapped
did
in
wrap in
March.
March, but a lot of people were still skeptical, and now we have official word from Disney, Lucasfilm, John Favreau, Dave Filoni, everybody working on the project, Kathleen Kennedy, as much as we hate her, but Kathleen Kennedy, that it is coming out when it's supposed to come out, and so basically, there's been a lot of rumors as to who's going to be cast in the series. We have rumors as Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, with hopefully Ashley Eckstein doing the voice for her. There's rumors of Tamara Morrison coming back as both
I can.
Captain Rex
I
and
am
Boba Fett.
looking. I am looking at his name right now because I was going to mention that he has been cast as Jango Fett,
Yeah.
and I
Um,
was like, "How the hell do you pronounce that name?"
yeah, Tamora Morrison. Um,
Temeru.
and
Yeah.
then it's been so long since these news came out. What are some of the other? I'm trying to think of some of the other castings that are in there. Oh,
Kate Sackhoff
yeah,
is
Kate
coming back
Sackhoff
as
as
Bo-Katan.
yeah, as Bo-Katan. I think somebody was also cast to possibly play Sabine from the Rebels series. I can't remember the
Probably. Yeah.
name of that actor. I don't think an actor who's been in Star Wars before. I don't think it's supposed to be the voice actor for Sabine. I'm not quite sure. But when she was cast as somebody who looks, very similar to Sabine, so
Well,
that's what everybody was
doesn't actually the
saying.
voice actor for Sabine Wren look like Sabine Wren?
Yes, it does. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Well,
do that a lot
it
with
could
those
be.
things. Yeah, maybe it is her. Hopefully it's her, because with a lot of the animated characters, the main problem is that if you have a different voice playing them when they get to the live action, it sounds kind of off to what we know them in the animated series, which is why we kind of need Ashley Eckstein to be voicing Ahsoka instead of Rosario Dawson, because otherwise it just won't sound pretty weird. But that's what
Ooh.
Disney is paid to be able to figure that out. Um, And so yeah, so we have some of those casting news. Obviously, we have Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and
Yeah,
obviously Baby Yoda. And we don't really know where the story. And there's also other side characters like Carl Weathers plays. I always forget his name. What is it?
who?
The Carl Weathers' character. Moff Gideon is the bad guy who got the dark saber at the end of the first season. I can't
Yeah.
think who's played by I
Right, are
can't.
you thinking of that really old guy?
No, well, Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed. I'm trying to think of what's
Yeah, no, I can never. If I had my phone
why
on me, I would
can't
pull up the
this is
game because I have
killing
him on the
me.
game.
This is killing me that I can't remember his
Wait,
name.
wait, wait, stay there. I'll scroll up because I
Hold on.
think in the information that I'm looking at right now,
I'm so
uh,
mad that I can't remember the name of Carl Weathers' character. Um,
oh, it's right in front of me
I can't.
because they asked him
It's
to
on the
come
tip of
in.
my tongue.
Yeah,
We have to figure
they
this
asked,
out because I'm gonna be thinking
they
about
asked,
this.
they asked Carl to come in, and
Yeah.
it was originally going to be
Hold
in
on.
full prosthetics,
Yeah, yeah. Carl
and then they
Weathers.
realized, damn, he's so fucking hot.
Weathers Mandalorian. Grief Karga. Grief Karga. Okay, there we go. Grief Karga.
That's it.
So that's his name, Grief Karga. And then obviously Cara Dune. She both of them are kind of off in their own path. So we don't really know. Obviously, I'm sure the Mandalorian will link up with them, and him and Baby Yoda will link up with them again. But there's a lot of it's really up in the air as to where the storyline is going to go. Obviously, I mean, we all know that when the Mandalorian was announced, and when we even got the first trailer, and leading up to the moment that everybody sat down to watch that first episode, everybody had this idea that this is going to be an 8-episode series of just some rogue post-Empire bounty hunter who's just going around ruthlessly killing people, all in an effort to make money and to do these dirty bounty hunting jobs. He'd get into it with the Empire and the New Republic and all these other shady people in between, and that's what we all expected. Little did we know that at the end of episode 1, the entire plot and motive of the whole entire show would change based off of the greatest kept secret in Disney history, because the fact
John
that
Favreau's Baby Yoda.
yeah, the fact that did not leak is just insane. And for John Favreau and Dave Filoni to want to protect that, protect anybody from knowing about Baby Yoda so much that they refuse to make Baby Yoda merchandise until after that episode came out, because they could have sold out of Baby Yoda merchandise, but it would have, the people would have seen it on the websites and whatever, because sometimes the SKU numbers are accidentally up on the websites, like for a new game before the new game's announced. Same thing would happen with these toys. People would say, "Oh, what is this? A little Yoda toy." So they kept that such a secret so that no kid working in a factory could take a picture of this and say, "Hey, look, they're having us make stuffed animal, little small tiny Yodas. I wonder what this is for," and post it on Twitter or whatever, and start a big fuss. So it's pretty cool that they kept that a secret. And obviously, yeah, the entire everything about this show completely changed from that episode, and the whole plot, thereafter was focused around Baby Yoda. So now we obviously know about that, and who knows, we could all have expectations going into the season, and then they could be completely turned around in the end of the first episode, just like they were in season 1. So, Captain, why don't you just start with just giving some of your ideas and some of your thoughts and predictions as to how they're going to kind of go about this second season of The Mandalorian.
I am expecting full-on frontal Boba Fett versus Mandalorian fight. I'm straight up expecting it because there's no way. Because we know he's coming in. All right, we know Boba Fett's going to be in. That one's pretty. I'm pretty sure that's like 100% confirmed right there. Boba Fett's going to be in the thing. But the only reason I could see Boba Fett being in it is because Moff Gideon has gone, I want this 60-year-old baby, which is a contradiction on itself, but I want this 60-year-old baby. I need the best bounty hunter in the business. And then that's when Boba Fett walks in and just like shoots everyone on the bridge, and he's like, "You'll do." Obviously, he doesn't shoot everyone on the bridge, but I'm straight up expecting Boba Fett to be hired as a bounty hunter to claim Baby Yoda from the Mando, and then either. Well, the thing is, Boba Fett's not a Mandalorian, so
Yeah, he's not.
So I doubt there'll be any of like, you're a Mandalorian, you're supposed to have honor and stuff. He's just a bounty hunter. So there'll definitely be some stuff I want to see, and I can't remember her name. The Forge Master, the Mandalorian Forge Master who like beats the crap out of a bunch of people with some hammers. I want to see her come back.
I can't remember her name. Well, she's the last we saw her was in episode 8, where they go through the tunnel where they go through the tunnels and the underground things to get out of to get
Yeah,
out
yeah.
from that
When you're
little
sneaking through
underground
the
Mandalorian thing
yeah.
to escape the Empire, or the old Imperial fighters who are with Moff Gideon. Um, yeah, I don't remember her name, but I'd like to think that she didn't die back in that town,
Well,
but
it's like
who
all
knows?
the Mandalorians gave up their armor so they could sneak away, which impressive. All right, a Mandalorian like giving up his armor is that's death. That's straight up death. Right? It's like I've died, passed my armor on to someone in my family, but they all just gave their armor in so they could remove like relocate the sect of the Mandalorians. That was pretty cool. I did like that. I don't want to speculate. I know this is a speculation episode, but I don't want to speculate too much on the Mandalorian because I'm normally right and I don't like it because I'll be able to predict something and then it comes true and it's really depressing. Like I predicted a ton of things on other TV shows, and it's like when you know it's coming, you know it's coming, and it's
Yeah.
kind of pointless. So story wise, all right, I'm not going to do massive detail, but I think we're going to see maybe like a time jump, a small time jump, maybe. It's Mando doing a job so he can get a bit of credits to feed him and Baby Yoda, who's now foundling. Maybe like 3 episodes in, Boba Fett doing some Moff Gideon stuff. Apparently, we are going to see some backstory on how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber, what it has to do with his past on Mandalore, all that kind of stuff. We kind of knew we'd be seeing that when we got the whole thing of Moff Gideon knowing the Mandalorian's name and saying that he was on Mandalore when everybody, well, basically when the Empire screwed it over. So we know we're going to see more of that. That one's actually been mentioned in an interview. And hopefully, the Mandalorian gets the saber and stabs Moff Gideon on like the final episode.
That would be see that I think that's kind of the route that it's going to go down in my opinion
Most likely.
is that the ending will be Mando holding the dark saber,
It
which
might not be Mando holding the darksaber. If Sabine Wren's going to be in it, it
yeah.
might be going back to the House of Wren.
See, I also was wondering if I thought about this when I was watching a video on Mandalorian season 2, like the casting rumors the other day, and I was wondering if could you imagine? I think this would be pretty cool if almost when Rex and Ahsoka and Sabine show up, they're not like allies with Mando, and instead, like they could be after the child and say, "Oh, we have to get this Force using child. We have to, we have to get him to the Jedi." Or if Ahsoka knows about Luke Skywalker or whatnot, "Oh, we have to get him to, Luke Skywalker to be trained in the Jedi Academy." And they're like trying to maybe they could kind of go after Mando to they want to take the baby, but obviously for a different use than Moff Gideon wants to take the baby, which is presumed to be, like him trying to do some like dark magic, like taking the Force essence out of the baby and giving it to himself or whatever. But
Hmm.
I think that would be pretty cool if they're not allies and instead they're enemies, but for like the right reason because they want to take they want to take him to Luke, and or it could almost also create this interesting dynamic, which I actually this actually just came to me now when we were just talking about it, that maybe you have like Mando is obviously with Baby Yoda. Somehow Ahsoka, Rex, Sabine, that crew, they find out that, this bounty hunter has this force sensitive being. And they think that, Mando has the baby, has the child for kind of the wrong reasons, the wrong purposes, without actually ever confronting him and knowing that he's the one who wants to, he's the one who wants to protect it and return it to its people. But if like Ahsoka and Sabine and Rex, if they don't know that and they think that the Mando's like keeping the baby, like to try to sell it for a high bounty or whatever, or do something harmful to the child, I think that would be kind of a cool, interesting dynamic. If like Ahsoka and them kind of go after Mando, they kind of duke it out, they have a fight, and then at some point like they realize that they're both on the same side because they both want to protect the child and return it to its people. I think that would be kind of cool. And I think that could be something that would develop over a few episodes. But I don't necessarily know how plausible it is. I think the more plausible route is that these couple characters show up for an episode or two and help Mando and the child out, whether that's in the beginning of the season, whether that's in the middle of the season or at the end of the season. I have no idea. And then I also think that, almost the surefire thing is that Darksaber, Moff Gideon, is probably going to die by the end of this. Because, he really only appeared at the end of episode 7 for the first time, I believe, correct? In that little fight standoff at the end when he showed up with the Imperial troops.
Yeah,
That was the first time we saw him. Because before that, it was the guy who Werner Herzog played, who was
that's
kind
the
of
name I can remember.
yeah, Werner Herzog played. I can't remember that character's name. I don't even think it was probably ever mentioned. But the guy that Werner Herzog played, he's kind of the little henchman for Moff Gideon, and we didn't know who Moff Gideon was
Yeah, see,
all the
that's
way
why
until the end. Yeah.
I liked the introduction of Moff Gideon, because it starts off with, oh, it's just some bloke on with a couple of Imperial troopers, trying to make a living, trying to stay in power and do stuff, trying to be a warlord, and then Moff Gideon turns up with Star Destroyers and stuff, and you're like, oh, that's bigger than I thought.
Yeah. I think that it will probably end up going down the route that it'll be Moff Gideon trying to get the child for the whole season and whatnot, and Mando kind of escaping
Yeah.
to planet. And I like how this show has been able to keep, an episode to episode basis while also almost feeling like one big cinematic movie, because it's almost like every episode it's a new group trying to go after the child, and it's Mando going to a new planet. I mean, the first 3 episodes you could kind of exclude from that, but episode 4, obviously he goes to that farm planet, they have to escape. Episode 5, Tatooine, they have to escape. Episode 6, they go to that big, that I don't even know whatever you would call it, but that's that rundown space station,
Yeah, and do that
and
job.
wherever
Yeah.
that is, and do that job, and then in the little prison ship. Also, sadly, as much as I hate episode 6 is my least favorite episode from the first season. I know a lot of people love it. I don't. The director, I can't remember his name either. I know it starts with an R. I think it's Rob something. He's a really really good director, and I think he had the right ideas for that. For that episode, I just don't think that the story was what I really liked. Like I would almost more fault that, in my opinion, on Jon Favreau as for the reason why I didn't like episode 6. I just think that whole idea of the like the prison ship and that like group of characters, with like Bill Burr the
Well,
comedian
it was,
and those other
yeah,
guys.
I liked him. I liked
Yeah,
his
I
character.
wasn't really a big fan of any of those characters. I thought that the episode was well directed and I thought it was well acted and whatnot, but I just didn't necessarily like the writing of the whole idea of that episode. That one I just that one just kind of missed with me. Most people say the same thing about episode 5, which I didn't think was that bad of an episode. I thought the one character was kind of cringy. The other young bounty hunter guy who's like, basically like a Han Solo, like a mock Han Solo, who's sitting at Han's seat in the Mos Eisley Cantina. I thought that character was a little cringy and how he was written, and how that actor portrayed him. But overall, I think I didn't have that much of a problem with episode 5, but I did kind of have a problem with episode 6. But and then episode 7 and 8 obviously were the climax, but you have that middle part of the season feeling like a TV show, which is what it's supposed to feel. Because if it was a movie that just cut off in the middle of action and said tune in next week, it would just be like, oh, why can't this just be a movie?
What is this?
Yeah, it'd be like as if you took like Revenge of the Sith, which you could probably get how many? It's like around 2.5 hours, right? So
Roughly, yeah.
yeah, so you could get all of those. You could split that up into 5 episodes, and that would just be like cutting it off at like right before when Mace Windu walks in and says, you're
And
in the name of the Galactic Republic, you're under arrest, Chancellor, and then it was just cut off right there, and then that's like tune in next week to watch Palpatine spin in the
yeah,
air and have an
no,
autistic scream, like
we're
that
not doing
would
Flash
be
Gordon anymore.
yeah. So I think that's what I like about The Mandalorian is that it feels like a TV show and it goes episode to episode with different motives and stuff. And I hope they kind of keep that with season 2. And that's why I think that, those Rebels and Clone Wars characters will only appear for like an episode or two. They'll kind of be like Mando goes to this place and they're there. And then, he leaves and, that maybe we'll see
See,
them again or whatever.
when you were talking about how the introduction of like Ahsoka happened, this is the thing. So you've got 3 characters that are going to turn up. You've got Ahsoka, you've got Rex, and you've got Sabine. Now across that, you basically have neutral good, which is Ahsoka. I don't know why I'm going into D&D terms, but neutral good, which is Ahsoka. lawful. Well, okay, either lawful good or chaotic good with Rex because he's a soldier. So he always aims to do what's right and get the mission done. And then obviously you got Sabine, who's kind of like a rogue, so she's kind of like chaotic, neutral, I guess. But it'll go like this: Mando's a Mando, so Sabine and Mando will clash a little bit because different clans. Even though Mando's not really part of a clan, but they'll clash. But because they're part of the same religion, they'll accept each other. Rex will be like, "Don't trust this Mandalorian. What we're doing? Get him away." Blah blah blah. And Ahsoka will be in the middle, trying to keep. She'll be like, I understand what the Mando's doing and stuff. He's got this child. We must try and do something with this child. But I don't think they'll be coming for the child. I think either.
See, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen either. I just think that would be kind of cool. I think that that'd be something that they wouldn't necessarily go down because they don't want to paint one side as the villains and one side as the heroes. Because obviously the Mando and the child and the Ahsoka, Sabine, and Captain Rex are both are all characters that everybody loves. So I don't necessarily know if they'll go down the route of like kind of pitting them together as enemies and making fans and viewers of the show choose sides as to who they want to win. I don't necessarily think they'll do that, but I just think that would be a cool thing. But yeah, I agree with you more. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just saying I agree with you more as to how they're gonna that's not how they're gonna go about it. But that's just what I want and what I think would be kind of cool. But I definitely think that they're gonna probably go along with more of what you're saying.
Well, it's like I think the way it will go, and once again, I swear to God, if I'm right, like I've been for the past half a decade on TV shows, I'm gonna find a building and just like scream, "I'm a Messiah" from the top of it. But sorry, I'm a prophet, not a Messiah. But it'll most likely go down of they're on the same planet. They're not really looking for each other, don't each other exist. Either Mando gets into a fight, or the other three get into a fight, and either Baby Yoda, if the other three get into a fight, Baby Yoda's either going to try and waddle off and help because he'll probably be able to sense the Force in Ahsoka and he'll want to do some good, or he'll like give a look to Mando and Mando will like sigh and roll his eyes inside of his helmet and try and help them, or it'll be vice versa. The trio will see Mando with this Baby Yoda and be like, "We've got to help him" and stuff like that, and then they'll escape. And Ahsoka will be like, "This little one is very interesting," and then it'll manipulate the Force or something. She'll go, "Oh my god!"
Ahsoka sounds like an old Obi-Wan Kenobi, according to your impression. The little one.
Yeah, but I mean, she just says
Ahsoka is now played by Sir Alec Guinness.
Yes, that'd be amazing if they like brought back Alec Guinness. But it'll probably go down something like that, and then if it goes down that way, Ahsoka will be like, "This child is a Force user. It should be with either its own people or people who understand the Force." And then she won't take it, but she'll try and get it to someone who does. So it'll probably be like Luke or someone, or maybe like someone who does Jedi stuff, like a secret sect of Jedi that have been hiding somewhere, something like that. And they'll go, "Oh, look at this little one," like that. And that would be a good arc because it'd be like, the Mando, though he's, the baby's now a foundling, his entire thing of looking after the baby Yoda is to get it to its people, like the woman said. Look after it, get it to its people, do all that kind of stuff. You're in charge of it now. So it'd be good if, it doesn't get back to the Yoda clan people that, we know nothing about. We don't want to know nothing about.
I think that if that, oh god, that just scares me to even think about that.
No, because
the thing is that that's definitely something Kathleen Kennedy brought up in a meeting, right? There is zero chance that they were not sitting at a round table and Kathleen Kennedy goes, "You know what will be really cool? Let's have a bunch of little Yodas running around on a planet. And you know what else? Let's just have somebody randomly say the name of the species. Like, oh, look, it's a bunch of blanks." Like, that would be what Kathleen Kennedy says. And then John Favreau and Dave Filoni and the panel of directors that they have just give her a little side eye and just go, "Oh my god." I'd like to think that happened, and it probably did happen. And I'd also love to think and really, really hope that John Favreau and Dave Filoni and the directors would say, "Yeah, that's probably not a good idea," and not like, "Oh yeah, Kathleen, let's go with that," because that would not be very good.
No.
Could you imagine?
That's the last thing. They'll go, "Yeah, that's a good idea," and then they'll turn to
That
They'll
that is
go, no, that's a bad idea. And then the third option is Dave Filoni gets up onto the table, runs at her, does a flying kick like Captain America, and she goes whizzing out of a window. That's my
or
personal favorite one.
or the little kick like in episode 3 when Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting and then the thing and they run at each other and you can clearly see that their feet do not actually hit the other person, but they both just jump and kick each other. That's what it would be like.
That's my dream.
That would be see
That'd be
if
great.
that like if they did that and there was just a planet of Yodas. I think I'd honestly shut it off and not
I'd
watch
stop.
anymore. Because
Yeah.
as much as I love The Mandalorian, that would just ruin so much of Star Wars and so much of the mystery of Star Wars and the
Well,
mystery of
it's
Yoda and everything. And watching episode 5 would never be the same. It would just
no,
never be the
it'd
same.
be similar to like episode 1 when Anakin look, we don't need the explanation of the Force. And by the way, if you don't get that joke, that's from a Aurelian Arts skit on YouTube. Fucking hilarious. But it's if if the Mandalorian landed on a planet, oh look at all these other Yoda-esque creatures walking out. What are the names? And then one of them walks up with like the most thick American accent ever. And we're this, this is our and. I would stop. I wouldn't even watch.
They all talk
Yeah.
backwards.
No, they don't talk backwards. That's just Yoda's thing for being a dick.
Yeah, that would actually be funny if they all talk completely normal and then Yoda's just the one that would be funny.
But no, I think like to get back to the arc I was talking about before, it'd be they bump into each other, and I know we're doing a bit of backtracking in the conversation. I want to get my prediction out because if I'm right, I'm gonna hate myself, but I want people to know how awesome I am. So it'd be like, we've got to get this, and I'm gonna sneeze. That's annoying. We're gonna get this baby somewhere. Let's take him to A, Yoda people. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that one. Okay. Or B, people who know stuff about Force who can hide the said Force child, and then they get there, and it turns out, we've secretly been tracked by Boba Fett. Boba Fett's giving away our location to Moff Gideon. Oh no, Moff Gideon's turned up. What we're going to do? We've got 3 episodes left. Let's try and escape one more time. Oh, it didn't work. All right, 1 episode. Let's plan an attack on Moff Gideon's Star Destroyer. Final episode. Let's attack Moff Gideon's Star Destroyer and kill him. And then season 3. And if that happens in that order, I am a prophet. You can all bow down before me and worship me as your Star Wars god. But with the way TV shows have been going, that I've not followed the same kind of, not in the Star Wars universe, but I've kind of followed the same kind of beat where we have X thing that we have to either hide, get away, use, and all that kind of stuff. It's normally gone in kind of arc, so it'd most likely be we have Baby Yoda. Oh, we're trying to get him away. Oh, we bumped into some Star Wars character. We got to hide him. Like, hide him here. Okay, like episode of us talking about why we're hiding him and stuff. Oh, end of the episode, Boba Fett's there. He spotted us. Oh no, what are we going to do? Boba Fett's attacking the village now, and he's called in Moff Gideon. And then, end of the episode, end of the season is Moff Gideon's dead. Star Destroyer's crashing to the planet. Or they kidnap the Star Destroyer. Who knows? That'd be pretty cool. And then it's like, we must find a new place to hide this Baby Yoda. Done. End of season 2.
Yeah, I don't that if you do happen to predict that, I think you should probably get a lot of money from Disney for creative ideas.
I mean, Dave Filoni. If you hear this or someone sends it to Dave Filoni, and I predict your entire thing,
he's watching. I'm sure he's watching.
I'm more than happy to jump on and give you some ideas for season
3. All right. Yes. I mean, that's really all I have to predict and talk about for the Mandalorian as of right now.
Well, I mean, I pretty much just predicted the entire season right there. There we go. Done.
So, I mean, we're gonna be bringing you guys a lot more Mandalorian discussions moving forward as we get closer to October when it comes out. A lot more predictions, especially when we get that when we get that trailer. We'll have a trailer review, a whole episode where we just review the trailer for you guys. That's definitely for sure. Hopefully some good Star Wars movie. No, because any Disney Star Wars movie will not be a good movie, so that can happen. Hopefully some good Star Wars news comes out, within this next week that, we'll be able to have something to cover for you guys next week. If not, we'll just think of some other topic like we did today and kind of just go into a discussion like it. Maybe we'll go into more of an in-depth prediction of the Bad Batch animated series, or maybe some other ideas that we might have for other animated series or other like a Rebel spin-off series that they could kind of go about. So, if there's no news that comes out, throughout this week, we'll bring you guys something like that next week. And, so that does it for me with all of my Mandalorian talk for right now. Captain, do you have anything else you want to just talk about before we head out?
Yeah. If anybody watching has anybody listening, really not watching. Anyway, have you got topics they want us to cover across? Because we do extensively look into as much Star Wars information as we possibly can get our hands on, which is tiring. But we do it for you because we love you and we love Star Wars. If you've got a topic that you want to cover, like there's a bit of news that you heard that maybe we haven't heard, let us
If you
know
have some
and
inside
we'll make a video
sources
on it.
if you have some inside sources with that Doomcock guy who claims he knows people at
Yeah,
Lucasfilm,
I mean,
then
if
go
you know
ahead.
Dave Filoni and
Yeah.
you need writers for season 3 of anything or like a new in my way, because if I've predicted season 2 of Mandalorian, I am a god.
All right, yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up for episode 25, and we'll see you guys next Monday for episode 26.
See you in a bit.